Greetings, Earthbound Travelers. Welcome to today's episode of Will of the Dice Presents Cast Guidance. I'm Tyr the DM, the world's okayest DM. And with me, as always, is the unruly one, Loch Clark. Hi, Loch.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, thank you guys so much for joining today. We do have some official stuff to get out the way, and then we'll get into today's topic. Today we are talking about disease in D&D 5e, but honestly, we could make this disease in tabletop in general. But before we get into all of that, we do have to remind you that this is for mature audiences. If you're not part of mature audiences, if you're offended by things like the word fuck, then you're going to want to leave. Also, guys, we're not associated or affiliated with any TTRPG creator, manufacturer, production company. We are just two individuals coming together to talk D&D and tabletop RPG and give our questionable opinion. It's Friday.
It is Friday. Thank the gods.
Tomorrow is going to be a long damn day. Tomorrow is mandatory patching, and I have to work from midnight to like 7 a.m. So,
no.
Oh yeah. So I will get you guys started in combat with the Jabberwock and see what happens from there. Maybe it'll be a TPK and we'll be done early.
I mean, it could happen.
It could happen. All right. Go ahead and dice them.
Right. I should do the thing.
Do the thing.
Hi, gamers. I'm Loch Clark, and I'm here to talk to you about our partners in this endeavor, Level Up Dice, fine purveyors of luxury dice for all your sexy dice needs. And today, well, you knew it was coming, right? I'm going to talk to you about our ambassador dice. So look how pretty they are. They're so shiny and pretty, and you want some. Yes, you do. You want the ambassador dice. These are radical glass dice with a stained glass glyphic pattern done in a reddish pink. They have a color shift from darker to lighter with an optical gradient, which means when you move them, there's a line that goes through it, kind of like a star sapphire would have. They're really cool. And they roll great. And you should get a set. And to do that, you're going to use our link, because that takes you to their site through our portal, and that makes us look good to them, and you want us to look good, don't you? And that link is www.bit.ly/WO capital W capital O capital T capital D dice. All one word. That's bit.ly/WOTD dice. Go check those out and check out what else is on the site. Get yourself a set of really, really cool dice. And we would also like to thank the musicians who provided our theme song for this episode. The musician is our very own Patrick Taylor. Thanks, Pants!
Thanks, Pants. Oh, and we want to thank you all for joining us on this lovely Friday. We've been doing this for close to a year now. It's hard to believe.
Right?
It's hard to believe people come and hang out with us while we talking bullshit about rule minutia shit. It's great. As Black Dragon calls it, it's DM group therapy.
Right? And, I expected we'd mostly be talking to ourselves. And I was totally okay with that when we started this show. This was not a show. We didn't decide to do this show for you guys. We decided to do this show for us because we wanted to talk about this shit. And we thought it would be fun. And the fact that you guys actually show up to hear us talk about this shit and have fun with us, we love that. And we love you. And now we're going to put you ill at ease as we talk about dis-ease.
Yes, we are talking about diseases in tabletop RPG. And so, what brought on today's topic? This is my choosing. We go back and forth picking the topic. Sometimes we come together and collaborate. Sometimes one of us will have an idea, and it's just like, let's do that. I was reading through the DMG to study up on the chase rules for last week's episode, and came across a section of diseases. And I thought, I've not had a good plague outbreak in a long time. I need to do that. But before I do that, we need to discuss that shit on cast guidance. And so here we are.
Here we are. Yeah, so it's interesting. 4E, I think, had a actually had a codified disease. So here's how diseases work. And it was clunky and it was bad. It was just cumbersome. And not realistic in my opinion. And 5E threw that out the window and went back to the old sort of ad hoc system that 3.5 used, which is there is a diseased condition that you can get, but what that means is kind of really vague and doesn't mean anything because each disease functions in its own way. And so you have to read the disease to find out how it works and what to do. And there's a bunch of different diseases that people have come up with. There's a handful that are canon that are like official and appear in official rules. And the difference between a disease and a curse is negligible, really, according to by D&D standards. Like what cures them is different, and that's it. Really, like when you look at mummy rot, I think it is actually a curse, not a disease. But for all intents and purposes, it's a disease. You just need healing. You need cleric spells to heal it more than You need different cleric spells to heal it than you would if it was a disease. Is I think the correct way to phrase that. So, yeah.
I noticed when I was looking through and reading the official diseases, I haven't looked at the unofficial homebrew diseases yet. I've just looked at what's in the DMG. I gotta tell you, I love the fact that all of them that I read, one of the main things is you suffer 1 point of exhaustion.
Well, yeah, and that's absolutely correct. That is, I don't care what you have. In the real world, let's talk real world for a second. Let's compare this to the real world. In the real world, if you have an illness, you are functioning with 1 point of exhaustion at all times. Like especially chronic illnesses.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah, like Tyr and I know all too well, unfortunately.
Yes, we do.
So yeah, there's
I think it's interesting though because it's just enough to give you disadvantage on ability checks, not saving throws, but ability checks.
Right.
And it's like, how many times do you have to make ability checks in the disease? You know, it's
Right.
like it's just enough to fuck with you.
The DMG gives three
Yes.
three sample diseases that are well written. Cackle fever, sewer plague, and sight rot are all. I mean, they're all interesting diseases. And there's a lot of homebrew out there. I found a list of 100 homebrew diseases, and some of them are really well thought out and well written, and some of them are like don't even bother to list how you cure them. And which I mean, I guess anything that would cure disease would cure them because they're a disease. So there's that. But like some of them don't list like a saving throw or anything apart from getting the disease. There's no like continuing. These symptoms just progress, and you don't get to try and save against it ever again. But then, and some of them are, like I said, are really well written, and some of them are kind of silly. My favorite, if I can find it, it's a list of 100. I'm sorry. My favorite of the funny ones is beard agnosia. You lose the ability to recognize a beard. You have great difficulty recalling or describing a beard. or noticing that someone has grown or shaved a beard. In advanced cases, sufferers of beard agnosia can be looking at themselves in a mirror and unable to tell whether they just shaved off their beard and they've gone a month without shaving. Fortunately, this disease is less common in men than women. Unfortunately, it is more common in dwarves.
That's hilarious.
It's a great disease. That's a fun disease. I'm sorry. That's like, especially giving it to a dwarf. That's you can't tell. I no longer notice beards.
So, one of the questions that I wanted to answer, or one of the things I wanted to discuss before we get into all the different types of diseases, and we may even make one, is when or why to use diseases in your game. So you got a couple of options here. First being, maybe you just want to slow down the party a little bit. Maybe you want to just kick them off track for just a little bit, or just put a little bit of a roadblock, something just to make them have to stop for a second. This is a great way. Have one or two members of the party catch a disease. They've got to figure out how to cure it. Maybe it's something that cure disease will work on. Maybe it's magical and resistant to magic. But it's a beautiful way to slow people down, to stop the party for a minute. It also gives them, puts them in a chance where they have to refocus and look at everything. So it's a great storytelling device if you need a breather as a DM, or if if the party doesn't realize they need a breather. The other option is you have that shit en masse, high level, towns, kingdoms, whatever. Then it's a great plot hook. And the party has to figure out where the disease comes from. How do they stop the disease? How is it spreading? Like, it can be a great side quest, or even can be the actual focal point or beginning of a campaign. So it's something that you can play with, and it's there that you can use it for multiple storytelling purposes. And it gives you the opportunity as the DM to be creative and come up with ways to fuck with your players just a little bit, have a little bit of fun. And I mean, because diseases in D&D are not hard to cure unless they're like some weird, rare strand that, I mean, because most clerics have, lesser restoration or something like that.
Right.
So you all right?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I muted my mic for a second. My Discord window has gone weird on me, and I'm no longer seeing when the green box that shows that you're talking is constantly lit up, and mine isn't lighting up at all. So I was no longer.
Oh, and he froze. Tech gremlins! Quick, somebody use the thing. All right, we're gonna give him a second, see if he unfreezes. Hope everyone's doing okay today. I'm dragging. Work has been kicking my teeth in. I hope one of these days to do this full time. Don't have to worry about being in IT anymore. Yeah, don't forget, guys. We've got the trans. I believe the Ukraine bundle is ended. I'm not sure if it hasn't. Yeah, the Ukraine bundle. He's gone, so that screwed up the boxes. So we'll be right back. We're gonna go ahead and put ourselves in BRB. hang out while we took care of our tech gremlins.
Sorry, guys.
Wouldn't be Will of the Dice without tech gremlins showing up every fucking stream.
Yep. My Discord took a shit all over my desktop. So yeah. Frantic restarts. That's the way to get the blood pumping in the morning.
I think what we need to start doing is just making sure everybody does a fresh reboot before stream. Maybe that'll help. We'll have a large portion of people tonight when we do after the roll, so we can talk about it then. I don't even remember where we were. Oh, diseases. Yeah, we're talking diseases.
We're talking diseases. And we were talking about plot hooks, using disease as a plot hook. And I wanted to say that you said as a roadblock for the party, and you said as a big kingdom wide save the world sort of plot. This thing threatening everyone. But I think there's a third option, which is in between those two.
Okay.
Which is the initial plot hook. Especially if you're going to be sending your party after undead. The small village that's out of the way that is suddenly people have started getting sick and dying. If one of them encounters something in some, the ruins nearby or the crypts nearby or whatever, and brought it back and it started spreading through the village, and then the party has to go and wipe out that thing to keep it from happening again. That's a good plot hook. We saw a similar plot to that in Alice's one shot, where it was a town where there was a disease that they couldn't figure out, and people stopped going to the town. And it turned out it was just two people in the town that were bad and were doing this to people. It wasn't really a disease, but it read that way from, as a plot point. So
yeah, and that was another thing that got me thinking about diseases was Alice's one shot. Which, if you haven't seen it, guys, is pretty good. You need to go check it out. You can check it out over on YouTube. Our VODs are there. It's definitely worth watching. Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can use it. It's a great storytelling device to help. You can even use it as a way to get your party back on track. Which I wished I'd have thought of this on Scions a long time ago. So Scions took a hard left turn when y'all encountered when y'all went to the Tusk Spire the first time. Y'all were not supposed to go to the Tusk Spire. Y'all were supposed to be led to Glandamere, but for whatever reason that didn't happen. If I'd have thought, I could have used something like a disease or something to help turn you. So I missed the pony on that one. Missed the wagon. So what I want to know from you guys in chat, have y'all encountered disease in any of your TTRPGs while we're talking about it? And if so, what was it like? What was your experience like? And while I'm waiting for people to answer, guys, you've probably seen the pop-up. The trans right bundle is still going on. It's a shit ton of TTRPGs. It's $5. It supports trans rights in Texas because Texas has created some just ungodly, unconscionable laws. And so you want to help people. We want you to help people. So you'll see it pop up. Itch.io has this $5 bundle. You get a large amount of TTRPGs. You get things like Thirsty Sword Lesbians, which I'm dying to play.
There's 493 games and supplements
Yep.
In the bundle. There are some D&D 5e subclasses in there. There are some new. I think there's a couple of races in there for 5e, and there's a bunch of other games and supplements for other games. And yeah, it's a good cause. That law in Texas is absolute bullshit.
It is.
They are going after parents with charges of child abuse for having trans kids, as if trans kids weren't at risk enough already if they're in a loving home that supports them being trans, which is suicide prevention. Period. The end.
Yes.
If your parents accept you and want you to be happy in your body, that is suicide prevention. Trans kids are the top percentile at risk for suicide. So this law is designed to punish people for accepting their children for how they are, to take those kids away and raise this and force them towards suicide. That's what this law is doing. It's going to kill people. This law is going to kill people,
Exactly.
and we need to fight it. So, sorry, I got on my soapbox a little bit there. I am passionate about this because a kid that I consider to be mine lives in Texas. I'm not biologically related to that child, but that's my kid. And they live in Austin, and they are gender nonconforming. And there are several kids that are mine that live in Texas that I claim. And I don't want to see their parents go to jail.
Right. So here's what we're doing. One, there's multiple of us on cast that have purchased this above the $5 to help donate. But two, what we're doing is if you purchase the Trans Right bundle, screenshot your receipt and send it to me at tyr@willofthedice.com. My email address is in chat. We'll bring it back up again just to be sure, but it's real simple. It's just tyr@willofthedice.com. You will be put in a drawing to guest star on one of our streams. So you'll get to come guest star, hang out with us, do a little role playing, roll a little dice, have a little fun.
I mean, I guess technically they could choose this stream.
Yeah, I mean,
and you can come talk rules minutia with us if that's what you'd rather do. I don't know why you wouldn't want to play D&D rather than just sit around and talk to us. But we're cool with that too. If you want to come here and talk to us, we'll have you.
Yeah. So go forth, buy it, send the receipt, the screenshot to tyr@willofthedice.com, get you in the drawing. We've had a couple of people, Wonder Goon.
Yep.
And then one of our longtime supporters, Christina, I can't remember. I haven't slept, guys. You got to understand that I work nights, so this is normally when I'm asleep. I forsake sleep, Christina. That was it. I forsake sleep to come and hang out with you guys. So, yeah. But no, seriously, this is we have said I'm getting up on my soapbox. We have said since the beginning of this. Yeah, soapboxes for everyone. Distribute the soapboxes.
We need a soapbox emoji. Just saying.
Yes. Yes, we do. We got to wait till we get opened up for more custom emojis because you're only allowed so many.
Yeah.
Or emotes. So when we put together Will of the Dice, when I started this over a year ago, hey, hello, welcome. When I started Will of the Dice and went and was like, hey guys, I want you guys to audition. This is what I'm wanting to do, and this is going to be a great thing that we're going to do. We're going to pull together. We're going to make a great product. We're going to have a great community, and we're going to use this as a platform for love and acceptance and to put our message in front of people. I sat down and I wrote up the mission statement or the about us for Will of the Dice. And what it comes down to is that we believe love and inclusion are the torches that light a path to a better tomorrow. come join us and be torchbearers. And so here's the chance. A lot of people, look, to be a torchbearer, you just got to be nice. You just got to love people. Don't be a dick. But here's a chance to take it to the next level. It's $5. Go purchase if you can afford it. If you can't, share the link on social media. Just get it out in front of people. But help us, because these are the kinds of things that are hurting people unnecessarily, hurting people that have not done anything wrong. It's just more darkness is trying to consume and devour. And we as people have to stand up and say no more. It is time that we, the people, came together, banded together, and put our foot down and said, we are not going to allow our people, especially our kids. We're talking about kids. We're not talking about adults. We're talking about kids that are going through a hard enough time in life trying to figure out who the hell they are and where they belong. And they've come to the realization that they may be gender nonconforming, they may be trans, and they're having to deal with that. And now the government of Texas is saying, well, if you allow your kids to do this, then it's child abuse. This is bullshit. And this is the type of stuff that we have to put a stop to. And what people need to wake up and remember is politicians work for us. They are not the head of us. They answer to us. And we need to let that be known in the polls and writing our congressmen, calling our representatives. We need to stand up and say enough is enough. We are not going to allow these hate crimes, because that's what it is, to continue. And it's time that we let our voice be heard. So this is one way to do it. Write your representatives, write their representatives, write the representatives in Texas. But it is time that we stood together and let love prevail. And this is a way that you can help do that.
While we're soapboxing about shitty laws, Florida just passed a shitty one, the Don't Say Gay bill, which is, in my mind, 1,000% designed to keep teachers from coming out of the closet, because it opens the teacher to liability if the parents think that their lesson skews toward the LBGT in any way, shape, or form. So if the teacher is out, then parents can make those allegations easier. So I think this is designed almost with the pure intent to keep teachers from being out of the closet. And the secondary intent of it is to keep teachers from being able to counsel gay students about gay being normal. And Florida just passed that bill, and now there's a clone of it that has been proposed in my state, in Georgia. So, fortunately, I will say this. I doubt that the one in Georgia is going to go through, simply because it will cost Georgia a shit ton of money, because Disney refused to step up and make any statements about the one in Florida. They didn't want to get political. They didn't want to, because they had donated to some of those candidates who were proposing that bill. And the workers at Disney started doing walkouts and protesting that the company wasn't taking a stand about that. And then the bill passed, and then Georgia proposed their clone bill, and the people at Disney were like, the CEO of Disney was like, yeah, okay, no, we're gonna say no to that, and we're gonna pull filming out of Georgia if you pass that bill. And Disney puts a lot of money into the film industry in Georgia. All the Marvel movies are filmed here. They're all filmed in Atlanta. So that's a lot of money. There's no way that bill's going to pass here.
Yeah, no.
Not if Disney's willing to pull. So that thank them for that. It's a little too late, Disney. You didn't get on board quick enough, because if you'd have threatened Florida the same way you just threatened Georgia, they wouldn't have passed that shit. Because nobody goes to Florida for anything but fucking Disney. Come on.
Yeah.
What do you go to see, the swamp? No, you go there for Disney.
I got a shirt that's got hearts on it, and it's got the LGBTQ flag. It's got the the people with disabilities and all this stuff, and it says if you attack one member of the party, we all roll
All
initiative.
initiative. That's right.
And that's the way I feel right now, that we're being attacked. You attack one of us, you attack all of us. And yeah, I'm getting choked up on this, but you got to understand, I've got people in my life that I love that are trans. I got people in my life that were there for me when nobody else was. That these people, they're good people. And I'm tired of seeing bad things happen to good people. So I'm begging you, even if you don't want to be on the show, I I could care less about that. Even if you don't want to, just support this. Get it out in front of people. If you can't afford it, I understand. I've been there where I haven't had two dimes to rub together.
If you can't, hey, listen, like Tyr said, my partner that I lost last year was trans. I got a trans kid. I got another kid, the one that's not my biological child. I don't have any biological children. I got two step kids. They're wonderful from my partner. And then another partner of mine has 3 kids. And I think of those kids as my kids because, I've lived with them. They're my kids and they live in Austin and they're threatened by the trans bill there. So this does affect me directly because it affects my kids. And it would have affected my partner if my partner were still here. And so, like, if you can't, I get it. I get it. Money's tight. I barely could afford to do this to share. It was, because someone had handed me some money recently. That was the only way I was able to afford it. Someone was like, "Here, you do something nice for yourself," and gave me a little extra cash. That's how I managed. So, like, I don't know. If you can't afford it, that's okay. Share it. Get on social media and spread the word that bundle exists so that more people go and support it. Because it's important. The more money we raise, the more legal defense for people who are being affected by it, and the more challenges to that law's validity we can put out there. That's it. If you can't donate, share.
All right. I've composed myself. I get really passionate about this because it's really, really important. And
And by the way, just real quick, I just went and checked. The trans rights bundle has raised 355K out of the 420 that's their goal. So, like, they're 84% of the way there. When we started promoting it on our stream, they've raised $35,000 since we started promoting. And I'm not saying that we're in any way, shape, or form responsible for that much, but that's how much it's gone up in the week that we've been promoting it. So if you can contribute, guys, please do. Please do. It's a worthwhile thing.
it is definitely a worthwhile thing. And, it's funny thinking back to when we started this, and I made the comment that we would be political and that we would put our message in front of people. Someone asked me if I was worried about losing audience. If you leave because we support trans right, don't let the fucking door hit you.
Oh no, let the fucking door hit you. I don't care.
That's all I got to say. If because we are LGBTQ friendly and we support basic human rights, if that turns you off and you have to leave, goodbye. Good riddance. I don't want you here. It's just that plain and simple. This is a place of love and a place to be a safe space. Our community is to be a safe space, and I will guard that fiercely.
Yeah.
So if you got to leave, you got to leave.
Look, yeah, we're not going to tolerate that sort of thing around here. Yes, we're tolerant, but we're not tolerant of intolerance. And like, I'm not going to hide who I am. I'm not going to hide who I love. I'm a queer poly kinky guy. Period. Like, yes, I'm liberal. I'm left. You can call me a snowflake or woke or whatever if you want, but I believe representation is important. I believe trans rights are human rights. I believe love is love, and if you don't believe those things, well, I'm sorry. You're being shitty to your fellow humans. Don't be shitty to your fellow humans.
It's just that simple. Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Everybody deserves the right to find that person or persons that they want to spend the rest of their life annoying the fuck out of. So, okay.
Amen, Dixie.
Yes. All right. So,
Back to the
diseases.
topic. Let's talk about diseases now. All right. Now my new mission is to go find a fun one as a palate cleanser. I don't like the name of that one at all. There's one that's just called Soft Bones. The player's AC drops 2 points until cured. That's it. Your bones got softer.
Isn't that really a disease? That's a real disease, though.
There is
osteoporosis.
Yes. Here's one. Demon ears. This person can only hear what demons tell it.
That's a mental disease. That goes under mental health. We'll talk about that at another time.
Okay, rabbit panic. This person can't eat rabbit without being panicked for 2d8 hours.
Wow. All right. So, how do you? We've talked about diseases of plot hooks. We've gave a couple of examples of diseases. So here's the question: as a DM, how do you use the?
Sparingly and with care.
Yes.
And a lot of them you don't use because there are just some of these diseases that are badly written. But, one, that's the thing about the disease system, right? You can tailor it to your needs because diseases act differently. So if you're looking to set a roadblock for your players to slow them down a little bit, to change the pace or stop them long enough so that they can pick up a clue or two that will send them in the right direction instead of the wrong direction, whatever it is you're doing as the DM, you can tailor the disease to what you need it to do to the party. So that's thing one. And thing two is that you can let it by that you can make it as spreadable, as contagious or not contagious as you want it to be. You can if you're doing the big plague, if you're doing like the world spanning or kingdom spanning plague, you can. I would make the saving throw easy-ish for the players at the beginning, and then over time raise the DC incrementally, to let them start. Like they've been exposed multiple times, but they've never come down with it, and make them start to feel kind of confident in the fact that they're not catching this disease until the saving throw is now high enough that one of them fails it, and then watch the drama that causes unfold. That's just me. That's how I would run it. But
so here's the question. So here's the question. I gotta go left field a little bit, and then I'll come back to that. Given that we are still in a pandemic, and yes, folks, we're still very much in a pandemic. COVID has not gone anywhere. Pick up a fucking paper. Look at the hospital numbers. COVID is still very much in full blown. It is still out there wreaking havoc.
Yeah, you want to know what COVID's doing right now? Go look at the numbers for Hong Kong as of this morning.
Yeah. So, is it bad form, given that we are in the midst of a pandemic, a global impacting deadly disease, to put diseases in a game? I'm going to say no because I plan on doing it. But
No, here's the
you know,
thing. Stories have to be relatable to people. And what's more relatable right now? And stories are our way of what's the right word? Look, there's not a lot we can do about COVID. We're all kind of helpless in the face of it. But if you give your D&D characters a fantasy disease that they can go out and fight, well, that lets you reclaim some of your agency. That's the word I was. It gives you back some agency. It gives you a feeling of agency back that you might not have in the real world. And what is this game for if not to give you things you can't get in the real world? And that agency
how I
can be
feel about it.
so.
That's exactly how I feel about it. It gives you an opportunity. There's not fuck all we can do. Well, there is things we can do if people would just do it. We can mask up, wash your hands, get vaccinated, social distance. There's things that we can do to help stop the spread. There's things that people aren't doing. I'm getting up on another soapbox. There are people out there that are selfish dicks that want to see the world burn. That's the only reason I can think of that you wouldn't take the precautions to keep someone else from getting sick. You just don't give a fuck. You want to watch the world burn. You're an asshole. If
I'm sorry. It affects. No, it's because. Oh, wait, I'm getting this. Hold on. Yes, it's because it affects their freedom and comfort personally to save the lives of others. Their grandma is going to go to heaven anyway because she got baptized. That's what I'm told. That's why it's okay for them to spread the disease by not wearing a mask. That's
like I said, you're an asshole.
yeah.
But no, it does give back that agency. It does give you the ability to fight back and to defeat something. It gives you, because one of the biggest things with the COVID, I think that we all felt. I know I did, and I'm not trying to speak for anybody, but is the helplessness of it. There wasn't fuck all we could do. So what do? Well, let's take it in the game, and that way we can kick the shit out of it. You know. I'll go ahead and give it. This isn't much of a spoiler because game time is coming in the next 2 days, and I'll go ahead and let you know shit's going. There's disease coming because the gates of Angermora are open, and the gates of Angermora being open has consequences that are far-reaching. So that's another reason that I've been studying up on diseases because that's one of the things that I wanted to take place. But no, I agree with you on the thing that if it is a uh, mass impacting disease, it's not some rare disease that only one or two people might catch. That uh, you set the DC and then you change the DC as more and more exposure comes to it, so that eventually the players most likely will catch the disease. I think that is a mechanic that mirrors life because, I mean, you think about it. If you're around it enough, your chances of getting it go higher, you know. And so I think that is a great mechanic to use. Um, and I think that knowing how to temper a disease, because I don't want to infect my party with something that's going to kill them in 3 days, you
Right.
know, but you still want it to have consequences.
Right, and to return that agency to them, you have to, it has to have consequences, but it has to be defeatable. It has to be overcomable. You don't want to put a disease. Like I said, when I said the 100 disease list that I found, I went and read through some of them, and they're mostly homebrews, and some of them are badly written. They're just bad because they don't give you good options for overcoming the disease. Now, granted, there are some diseases that there are no good options for overcoming the disease unless you catch it early and, you've got magic. But like some of those diseases are absolutely brutal. And I would not inflict them on the party. I'm going to maintain that beard agnosia was based on a real person, that they knew someone who just never noticed when you shaved or didn't, and they decided to make that a disease in the game. That seems like that to me. That one seems like an in joke at a table.
It's funny that you brought that up, Black Dragon. Black Dragon brought up magical diseases that only affect spellcasters. In Untitled, there is a disease. It's called the Dragon Flute. It only affects magic users. And what happens is that it turns their magic into wild magic. The sicker they get, the more outlandish and such their magic gets. It's very rare. It's very hard to find. You get it by ingesting dragon meat, which is a delicacy in some areas. But it's out there, and it can only be cured by magic. So
I'm looking through this list of homebrew diseases, and there's a lot of them that affect people's tongues. I'm just noticing that seems to be a theme.
it's kind of crazy considering one of the things that COVID does is takes away your sense of taste.
There's one called frog's tongue, where your tongue literally turns into, over time, a frog's tongue. Being able to, to dart out and snag things and bring them back. That's a thing. There's basically someone wrote a magical D&D disease that is basically Tourette's syndrome. Called the Twisted Tongue. The patient begins to swear and insult others by chance. Yeah.
All right, it's 1:00. I need caffeine. Let's take a quick break. We'll take 10 minutes. I know we took an extended break at the beginning because of technical. Sorry about that, but I do need.
Yeah, I did not refill my coffee while we were on that break because I was busy trying to get my shit fixed.
So we're going to go to break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Remember, guys, if you haven't already, if you can, purchase the Trendrite bundle. If you can't understand, I got lucky and was able to get it. Just share the link. The link comes up in chat. Grab it, put it on your socials, get it out there in front of people. The more people that see it, the more people that will buy it, the more good we can do, the more we can tell these politicians that are out to hurt people, we're rolling initiative. You've come for one of us, you're coming from all of us, and we stand together. So yeah, we'll be back in 10 minutes, guys. just that quick. We went, got our snickety snacks, handled all of our business, got our caffeinated beverages. During the break, I want to give a shout out to Sir Ustad. Sir Ustad has gifted Will of the Dice the TTRPG bundle. So we're going to give it to one of you guys. So we're going to start a giveaway. Hey, Rudolph. Welcome, welcome. Use exclamation point raffle to enter. It'll run about 30 minutes. One of you guys is getting the free bundle.
Ooh. So that was a very loud thunderclap. It started storming here.
And that's all I can do with that.
Right, for legal reasons. Yeah. So no, very exciting. Thank you, Ustad. We're enter the raffle, guys. Someone gets a free bundle. And get to know that you by proxy helped support trans rights in Texas.
Yep. So just use exclamation point and the word raffle to enter. Get yourself in on that drawing to get the free. There's a shit ton of TTRPG stuff, and
493 games and supplements, including, as we said, Thirsty Sword Lesbians. There's a game called Punk Pride Pixies. There's Lesbian Werewolves on a Beach. There's a one-page RPG called Demon Breakers that the description says it's basically Ghostbusters. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in there. There's some really cool versions of one of my favorite systems, the Powered by the Apocalypse system. There's some cool games from them in there. So yeah, that's a cool thing, and you should get your hands on this. So enter the raffle. There's a game. I'm gonna go find the name of it. Get a new tab. Thank you. I'll find it in a minute. But there's another one that I'm really excited for in this list, and I can't think of the name of it. I want to make sure I get it right because the name itself is a lot of fun. There's 4 Sherlock Holmes and a Vampire, which is a game I've heard played on a live stream before, and am very excited to check out for myself. Here it is. There's a game, and it seems to be based on his rather short-run TV show, Ripley's Believe It or Not. There's a game called Jonathan Frakes Wants Your Attention, and You Must Not Give It to Him. So yeah, that's it's a game of being haunted by a vengeful spirit in the form of the actor from Star Trek: The Next Generation, Jonathan Frakes.
That is hilarious.
So yeah, go get the bundle, or if you can't afford the bundle, please enter the raffle. And even if you can afford the bundle, enter the raffle and then buy a version for somebody else. Gift one to someone in your life, pay it forward, whatever you want to do. So even if you've already bought the bundle, please enter the raffle, and then you can pass it along to someone else, and maybe they'll spread awareness and they'll pass it forward. Yeah. There you go.
Crazy time, guys. Life is crazy.
Yeah.
But
diseases. That's what we were talking about today. Diseases.
I want to shift gears for a second.
Okay.
Is it this Sunday you're doing your one shot?
Yes, I am doing a one shot on Sunday. It is part 2 in my world Terrandine. It is another heist job. It is the same patron hiring a party to go and steal something for him. And it's going to be a lot of fun. This one's called The Giant Job. And we're going to watch the party go into a place that is colloquially known. It's not its actual name, but it is known as Mount Citadel. It is the ancestral home of the giants, and it is deep in the Sovereign Unity, which is my world's analog for Russia. It is a place that is dragon friendly, whereas our last one shot took place in the Firmament Empire, which is very anti-dragon. So it's going to be hopefully it's going to be a fun ride for the party. Like I said, as I said when I ran my first one of these, I wrote this as a 5-part adventure, but each part is encapsulated unto itself, but feeds an overall arcing plot that will, when we get to episode 5, come to fruition. And the audience, if you've watched all of them, you will see that plot develop. If you haven't, then it won't matter that you didn't see it develop, because you'll get to see the end of it and how it turns out. So it's not something you need to see all of in order to enjoy, because each adventure is its own thing. But yeah, and we got a couple of characters returning and a couple of new characters coming in, and yeah, I think it's gonna be fun.
I think it'll be fun too. I look forward to getting to watch what I can of it. I wished I could play in it, but fucking work.
Yeah, totally understand. And I wish you could play at my table. I really do. But we'll make do with what we got, and hopefully everyone will have a good time as they delve deep into a mountain full of giants to retrieve a thing.
It'd be good times.
Yeah, I still gotta. I've got it all. I've got everything done except for loot. I gotta figure out loot in the dungeon itself. Other than that, everything is set and ready to go.
All right, guys. Do you guys have any questions for us? It doesn't have to be about diseases. We've been all over the place today. That's usually how it is with this show, though. This is
Cast tangent.
Cast tangent, because that's usually what we do. But any questions? It doesn't even have to be TTRPG related. I'll answer anything. But
we can play AMA.
Yeah,
if you have questions about anything I've said or anything else, feel free. I'm an open book. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. I'll answer anything. But we definitely enjoy the interactive part with you guys, because you guys we have the best fans, bar none. I'll stand toe to toe. Our audience, our community, best community, period.
Amen.
That is a crazy. Black Dragon puts idea: magical disease that makes giants halfling size. When you cure it, they go back to normal size. That is hilarious.
That is hilarious. I love that. Don't look for that in my one shot, because
no, but I'm going to make that canon.
If that idea had come up before right now, I might have written it in. But I'm done writing this adventure. Damn it! I've been hard at work on it for the last month. So, and especially this past week, I've been really making sure everything's nailed down and tight. So, yeah, that's great. Yeah, I will say, I'm not going to get into specifics, but for my game on Saturday or on Sunday, I have I reached back to 4th edition. There was a thing that was included in the 4th edition rule set that that they've made no mention of yet officially in 5th edition, outside of one not very official place where it exists. But I loved that. That was one of the things in 4th edition that I thought was really cool, even though I did not like the rest of 4th edition. And so I decided that I was going to put that into my world. And so I did. So when it shows up, if you know, you'll recognize it and understand that is a 4th edition rule that I'm putting in 5th edition because I'm the DM.
Okay, so Todd says, make them roll to see if they sneeze. Every time they sneeze, they change sizes for the magical giant halfling disease. I may do that.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, I love that.
Black Dragon says, how do you handle flying encounters? Now, are you talking about an individual flying? Or are you talking about on the airship? What are we talking about here? I need more information so that I can properly respond to that.
Yeah, are you talking about? So I'm gonna guess that you're talking about the parties being able to fly during encounters, because that is a hotly contested thing. There are a lot of DMs out there that think that the party having flight breaks the D&D combat system. I don't think it does. It does. What's the right word here? It does add a level of complication. It makes things easier on the party in a lot of ways. It gives them the ability to avoid certain obstacles that you might try to throw at them otherwise. It can make moving around during combat less dangerous, but that's easy to account for as the DM, especially if you know you've got flying players. Yeah, I don't think it's if you it's easy to put there's a couple of things you can do to mitigate that. You can there are certain spells that you can have mages throw that will eliminate their ability to or give them a cost or a danger for using their flight during the combat. You can put in a couple of flying monsters to sort of balance the combat, to give them something that they have to deal with in the air. Look, one of the games I really cut my teeth on post D&D. I started like almost everybody does. Playing D&D was my first TTRPG, but very quickly, well, not very, but by the time I got to college, I started playing heavily in superhero RPGs, and in vampire RPGs. And flight is a component of both of those that is accessible, especially in superhero genre. Everybody, half of everybody can fly, and that was one of those things you had to work out. You had to be very aware of. If your character can fly, and if there are 3 guys who can fly and 3 people who can't in the party, when you need to move somewhere quickly, you have to take into account those who can't fly. So it became something you were very aware of, but also in superhero RPGs, it's very easy to put in flying bad guys too. And then it becomes the flying good guys have to prioritize the flying bad guys as their targets, while the people who can't fly deal with the threat on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, flying doesn't break the game. There's a lot of people out there that say that. One, if your party has any renown whatsoever, like when they're first starting out, yeah, it's going to be advantageous because nobody knows who the fuck you are. So there might be encounters where you're dealing with enemies and stuff that they're all grounded in. So yeah, you're getting that advantage of being able to attack from the skies. But as your party gains more renown, or as you become more pain in the side of the big bad guy or whatever, they're going to prepare for you, for your party, and for flying. Uh, Flying doesn't work in small enclosed areas and stuff. So there's 100 different ways to deal with it. Force wall. Force wall solves a multitude of fucking problems. because you can cast it plane on whatever axis of the plane you want it on. So if you put it above you, the person can't get down. It's just, so there's a lot of different ways. Oh, I feel you, Stod. Work's fucking with my fun too. It's just part of work. All right, guys, any more questions? Hit us with the questions, comments, concerns,
Yeah, and I
anything.
mean, there are magic items that your party might get at higher levels. There are flying carpets, there are brooms of flying, there are things like that that could give a party flying speed. Um, and then you just have to, if the party has a flying carpet, you just have to um,
Pardon the
you have to
hiccup.
be a smart DM and sort of work around that. You have to plan the obstacles you're going to put in their path for, okay, how are they going to use the flying carpet to avoid this obstacle? And then what additional thing can I put in the way that's going to challenge them using the flying carpet? Of course, it gets really easy if the flying carpet isn't big enough to carry the whole party. And then they have to like start, the thing is already complicated. If, especially if they have, if there are size discrepancies in the party, like flying carpets can only carry so much weight. So if they've got, a Luxodon or a Goliath in the party, then the flying carpet isn't going to be as effective. And it's less a worry for the DM because they can't put everybody on there. And then, especially with, with the Luxodon, like Luxodons aren't known for their agility. So if it's a physical obstacle that they've got to, if they've got to get past, then, um, you know, taking the smaller members of the party across on a flying carpet and then leaving the Luxodon to fend for themselves could be problematic. Now, with our party, our Luxodon happens to be a druid, so could use Wild Shape to, and that's another thing. They're at, I think, what is it, 5th level, if I'm not mistaken? At 5th level, druids with Wild Shape can choose flying creatures. So, and I may be wrong about the level, but
I don't remember the level.
Somewhere in the like 5 to 10 range, I want to say, druids get flight. They can just, and then monks around 10 or 11, I think, they get Step of the Wind, and that ease of movement power that lets them fucking walk on water and run up vertical surfaces and shit. Which, while not flight, is just as good at overcoming obstacles, and then they've got slow fall, so falling isn't a worry for them. So, like, it's the next best thing to flight. So if you're a mid to high mid level party, and you've got a monk, you as a DM basically have a flying character you have to contend with. But like we said, there are obstacles that the that the whole party is going to have to face, and the monk being able to move across it with ease isn't going to get the rest of the party across. And so at that point you've got them on different sides of a chasm or whatever, and um and
Oh,
and Tyr, you mentioned force wall, and casting it above to lock someone out of flight, or out of, if they're already flying, from coming back down into the combat. And now I'm just imagining, the mage casts force wall, and the fucking monk ninja flips up, plants their feet on the force wall, and runs across it upside down because the rules say they can fucking do that.
yeah. So druids get flight on level 8. They can take flight forms at level 8.
I knew it was somewhere in the 5 to 10 range. I was close.
Rudolph, yes, one of my players had slippers of spider climbing. They can definitely, it can definitely change up the encounters. It changes the dynamic completely, and you've got to be able to prepare for that. Uh, most, most of my parties have at least one ranged attacker. So yeah. Holo said they missed Sunday. Life was too busy. Well, Holo, you can either watch it here on Twitch on the VOD, or it'll be going up on YouTube this weekend. So you can get caught up, and you're going to want to get caught up because Sunday was insane.
Yeah. 4 words. 4 words for Sunday. What's in the box? So yeah. Yeah, and speaking of spider climb and spider climb or slippers of spider climb, or just a spell that lets you spider climb, does change the dynamics of combat. It gives them angles and approaches that are different. It overcomes a lot of stuff, and and then there and that reminded me of other powers. There are subclass powers that just do that sort of shit. I mean, Misty Step too. And Misty Step with Spider Climb, forget about it. Like, I stepped to that wall up there. I'm now 30 feet up over there, and I'm looking down, and I'm just standing on the wall, and I'm shooting at a thing, or whatever. Horizon Walker Rangers. Horizon Walker Rangers get the ability they get Misty Step and they get Ethereal Step, which means they can go through objects. They can go through solid matter in the ethereal plane to show up somewhere, so they can just pop. And at the higher levels, I think at level, I don't remember, I think at level 11, somewhere in that neighborhood, they get a power that lets them, they can fire an arrow and then immediately teleport to a different spot 30 feet away for free on an attack. So they literally fire and flash to a different spot to fire again. So they're really hard to pin down as a target. So yeah, there's stuff built into to a lot of the classes that make flying not as big a deal because you already having to account for weird movement stuff.
All right, guys. Any more questions? Also, please enter the raffle! Exclamation point raffle! Even if you've already purchased the bundle, enter the raffle. You can give it to someone.
Yeah, pay it forward if you've already bought the thing or you've got the money to buy the thing yourself. Enter the raffle, win the raffle, and then buy the bundle for someone you know.
All right, guys. Any more questions? Any more comments?
Guys, come on. Only one person has entered the raffle? Just one of you?
It's free. You get something for free.
493 games and supplements. Do the thing.
Do the thing. You're helping support human rights.
There we go. We got a second one. Rudolph is in the raffle.
Your dice get sent out either today or tomorrow. That's Lollipop will be taken to the post office. Everything just sort of got discombobulated. Your dice and your wall art that you won, Holo, both go out today. So you should be getting those soon. Everything's already boxed up and ready to ship. Just had some technical difficulties on our end. So sorry for the delay. By the way, I've watched the progress of the dice bags on Twitter that Holo is making. They are gorgeous.
Absolutely. I love mine. I can't wait to see it in person.
All right, let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and end the raffle, see who won. And then we're going to wrap up and get out of here. I've got to get ready for work. The Wise Wolf, you won the raffle. DM Lollipop Gestapo your email, and we will, or send a whisper with your email, and we will get that sent over today after the stream. Sent that to your email. Congratulations. And like I said, for those that have bought it, make sure you email me your receipt. get put in for a chance to guest appearance on one of our streams, whether it's DQSR, Scions, or here, or one of our one shots. You know,
Yes, and now that you've bought now that you own a copy of the downloads for the raffle, you too can play The World is Ending and We Are Very Large Dogs, a tabletop game about bringing happiness at the end.
guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it for today. I've got to get ready. My phone has already rang twice from work, so I ignored hang out with you guys because my shift doesn't start officially until 3, but apparently it's going to start sooner. Guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Thank you so much for, it's been a back and forth show. This show's always back and forth. We never stay on topic. That's just, we are Cast Tangent, but
Indeed.
we're going to remind people who we are, where they can find us, and let's get the hell out of here.
Hi, gamers. I'm Loch Clark, and you can find me here and on both DQSR and Scions of Oblivion on Saturday and Sunday nights, respectively. This Sunday night, we will not be running Scions. I will be running a one-shot in its place, a heist job set in a giant's ancestral mountainal home, Mount Citadel. So come and check that out and watch me try and herd some cats for 4 hours. And you can find me on the Book of Faces and the Twitter Patients at Loch Unruly. That's Loch with an H.
And I'm Tyr the DM. I am the world's okayest DM. And you can find me here on noon on Fridays with Locke talking rules minutia. And you can catch me running the games on Saturdays at 9, Sundays at 8, doing all the things. We are not cute. We are ruggedly handsome. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey. I'll take cute. I'm cute.
Guys, just want to say that times are dark and things are hard, but we are not alone. Remember that love and inclusion, these are the torches that light a path to a better tomorrow. Come join us and be torchbearers. And remember, until next time, if someone doesn't know, don't cast aspersions, cast guidance. We'll see you next time.